Whether you're a new player who just got the game or a beta tester who's looking to get better, this video will show you everything you need to know about how to be good or get better at Population 1 on the Oculus Quest or Quest 2.
I am freaking excited! Woo!
Hey guys, Shynee here, back at it again with a new VR video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can get good at Population 1 on the Oculus Quest or Quest 2. Now, for those of you who don't know, Population 1 is an amazing VR Battle Royale game, and I know just saying the words Battle Royale make you think of a certain game, but I assure you, even though this has similar mechanics and playstyle, this game is leaps and bounds above Fortnite because, let's face it, mechs were so unbalanced. This does not have a lot of unbalanced stuff, and it's still a really fun game. Now, in this game, you're dropped into a game with 16 squads of 3 people, and you have to fight it out to be the last player surviving using guns, healables, and all sorts of really amazing stuff. It's really fun, and I suggest you jump into it before people are way too good. Now, I've had Population 1 for like 3 months now because I was an exclusive beta tester, and so in those 3 months I've learned a lot of secrets on how to go from terrible to really good with just a few simple tricks, which I'll be sharing with you in the video. And if you guys enjoyed this video and want to keep supporting the channel, please make sure to go subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. It would mean a lot and you'll never miss when I upload a brand new video. But without further ado guys, let's just get right into it. So the first tip I have seems like kind of a no-brainer and is even introduced in the tutorial, but it's rarely used in the game and can really help you get the advantage over players who don't use it. And that is the ability to climb, build, and fly through anything. Now let's start off with climbing. One of the coolest and most unique features about this game is the ability to climb anything. That's right, mostly anything you can grab your hand onto, you can climb, which is pretty cool. And this can be used to get the high ground on other players or move around the map with the combination of flying. To climb, just put your hand in anything you want to climb, then hold down the grip button and pull yourself up as if you were climbing in real life. Not that hard. On to building. Now, building is one of the most underused features in this entire game, and just like Fortnite, I'm sure people are going to be cranking 90s in just a couple of months, so I suggest you start using building right now while you still can. Building is great for cover and can be used to make fortresses, block fire, or even hide sometimes while you rev up a teammate. To build, all you need to do is get materials, then deselect the item in your hand with the button A. Then press and hold the trigger until you see the green either wall or floor, and then just release and that will build a wall. Now in this game, you can build either a wall or a floor, and so this is going to be used to make pretty cool bases and fortresses, which is awesome. Finally, going on to flying, you can use this to move around the map really quickly, or just get an aerial attack on one of your opponents who's very much unsuspecting this. Now another cool feature of this is that you can fly while you're dead, so if you're trying to get to a teammate who's very far away, you can climb the nearest building and fly over to him at lightning fast speed, which is much faster than if you were to walk. To fly, all you need to do is jump off of anything and put your arms in a T-pose, like the memes, and you'll be able to be soaring through the sky, which is pretty awesome. Now, another good tip I have in terms of flying is that when you get on the pod, and once you launch, instead of going down to when the pod crashes, if you just stick out your arms very quickly, you actually leave the pod, and that way you can fall down and glide to wherever you want on the map instead of having to go exactly where your pod goes. So the next tip I have for you is bot training. Now, this may seem like I'm calling you a bot, but that's not it. What I'm saying is that you should do training with bots who are not real players in the game. Now, this footage was recorded before the official release, which means it was during the beta playtest period. And in the beta playtest period, they've actually had 2 kinds of bot training. One where you spawn into an actual match with bots, and one where you're in a combat trial. But as of now, only combat trial is available, so I will go off with that one. So for combat trial, you respawn in a park area with tons of guns around you. Then enemies start spawning in waves, and you have something like 2 to 3 minutes to kill them all and get the most kills as possible. Now, this isn't going to help with dropping locations and other stuff like that, but it will help with aiming, it will help with being surrounded by enemies, and it will help with finding your weapons and finding your guns and just getting better at aiming and all sorts of reloading, stuff like that. It's really, really helpful if you're looking to get better at shooting and being, in combat with enemies. It's really, really helpful. You wouldn't think it's that helpful, but trust me, it's really helpful. So another tip I have for you, which is kind of a no-brainer again, is know your drop spots and know your weapons. Now, what I mean by this is that you should know where to drop and when in terms of where your pod is going and what's the most populated areas. You should know what loot you can expect from there. For instance, in Cemetery, there are a ton of backpacks, and so you don't have to worry about that. But in other areas, there are a lot less backpacks. That way, you can always know where to drop on the fly, and you're not spending precious time trying to figure it out. Also, you should know what items you're good at. For instance, I never knew I was good at the MK18 until I tried bot training, and I now really love the MK18, so I suggest you use bot training and try to find out what weapons to use. That way you can take them over other weapons. Finally, know when to use certain items. For instance, know when to take a soda over a banana, or know when to use a grenade versus going in with a gun. And these will really help with your game and just make it all smoother and easier in those tricky situations that you get into. Now here are just a couple of tips for squads that you may encounter, because I know it's hard to play with a bunch of random people.
The f*** you say to me, you little s***?
First of all, drop in the same location. I know that sometimes I'll mark farmlands, and 2 of the 3 squad members, me and another guy, will drop there. Meanwhile, another person will drop somewhere like Complex 36. And when they die, we can't help them. So why would you go over there? I don't know, but it's much easier to just drop with your team members. That way, instead, it's a 3v3 if you encounter a squad instead of a 2v3 or even a 1v3. And you can all res each other since you're all near each other. I would also say to share loot and talk constantly. Now, yes, I know there are people who are muted their mics, but if that happens, just ping a lot. But with other guys, share loot, talk constantly. If somebody mains snipers and you have a sniper, maybe give it to them in exchange for a gun, or not just give it to them. That way it gives you a better chance of winning the game. And if you guys are constantly talking, you guys can mark loot, you guys can find enemies, and you guys can just be one whole collective unit instead of 3 separate people. Which, by the way, a bit of a history fact here, because we studied this last year. That is actually how the colonies won the Revolutionary War. They were one massive unit instead of 13 separate colonies. Big brain. And my last tip is mark things. Mark things, mark things. Gun you see that somebody else might like? Bang! Mark it. Enemies? Pow! Mark it. Place you guys want to drop? Mark it. It makes it so much easier for people who don't have a mic, or just people who want to know exactly where stuff is, and will just smooth up your gameplay a bit and will allow just a much smoother gameplay that once again have you working like one collective unit. Now, my final tip is actually one I cannot stress enough, even though it seems really simple. Do not rush into things. Now, I have this big problem, not even in most VR shooters, just in Population 1, where I'll see an enemy, and I'm relatively good at the game because of bot training, and so I'm like, I can take this guy, right? I see a one single enemy, I'm gonna get him good. So I drop down there, right? And I sometimes lose, but most of the time we'll be able to beat him, just a one-on-one fight. But what I don't realize, because I didn't take my time, is that there's a second guy there, or maybe even 2 guys there, and I ended up losing because, I got a full squad on me instead of just one guy. Meanwhile, my teammates who were staying back are now to take on a full squad, just 2 people. So before you rush into situations, make sure you know exactly what you're getting into, and maybe it's much easier to just stay back with your teammates, take the more easy route, and then that way you guys can take it on 3v3 versus 1v3. But yeah, that's all the tips I have for you on how to get good or better at Population 1. I hope you really enjoyed these tips, and these are the best tips that I've found for getting good at the game, and these have helped me win multiple matches. But if they don't help you, you guys can always get help from my amazing VR community on my Discord server or on the Population 1 Discord server. But yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, anything you want to say. Follow me on all my social medias. Support me on the Patreon. It's a great way to get exclusive early access videos, video shoutouts, and other stuff. In fact, shout out to my 2 SharkFinn now. SharkFinn __ and Zucchini. You guys are absolute legends and support me for what I do. Please make sure to go join my Discord server. It's a really awesome VR community, and we host VR meetups and all sorts of other stuff on there. Follow me on my Twitch, as once I get a capture card, I will be live streaming there. And as always, guys, stay close.